Yo, 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 good morning. Grateful for another maggot-free day above the dirt. Jersey Shore, check it out. While beautiful, it is freezing today. With the wind off the ocean, it's a feel-like temperature of the high 20s. So anyway, this video is called Starting Your Practice Over. And what does starting our practice over means? It means that we could start it over every day, every hour, every second, every moment. And in an absolute sense, our practice does start over every moment, right? In every moment, there's a new person, a new experience. Everything changes. Nothing is the same, even if it's just very nuanced and subtle. It is starting over. Every moment is a lifetime in itself, and every lifetime's but a moment. So, but the focus of me talking about this is how, for some reason, many don't let themselves start over. Like they know they can start over, but they almost don't, willingly, purposely. And usually this is because, we have this really high ideal of the spiritual aspirant we want to be. And we want to live up to that. And there's no doubt that we commit to and that we direct our energy into attaining and actualizing that ideal. And, this is really the spirit of the four vows. It's not that we hope to be able to save all beings and so on. But the real commitment is to put our determination towards that goal. So anything we achieve under that threshold is still great, and the determination gets us further and further in that pursuit. But a lot of times, most of the time, if we're all honest, we fall way short of the spiritual aspirant we want to be, of the spiritual being we hope to transform to. Transformation is a slow process. Yes, we have moments of amazing actuality, but the reality is usually that's few and far in between. Most of the time, we're in a constant, sometimes struggle, but a constant effort to just not sweat the little stuff, to not be entangled and hooked and attached to all this stuff that in the big picture is just total trivial stuff that is holding us back. But the nature of what I'm speaking about is how when we do fail in spiritual practice, and let me set this straight. This is, we perceive it as failure, but every time we fail, it's actually a great teaching and opportunity to succeed. Every block is a stepping stone. But what happens is when we, quote, fail, meaning when we maybe act out a habitual behavior that we thought we had a handle on, or we do something, that is not something that we feel is aligned with our spiritual practice, when we really do stuff that brings us to feel maybe shame or self-loathing, or anger towards ourselves. A lot of times the first impulse is not to, I'm not good enough to practice. I suck at this spiritual practice. I don't deserve spiritual practice. And then we won't engage the spiritual practice that we actually need to do to deal with what we just failed at. So, and this, I'm guilty of it too. There's lots of times I'll be failing, quote failing, and say to myself, all right, just go sit down on the cushion, or just break open the sacred literature book, or call somebody and have a spiritual discussion. These thoughts will come in, and then they'll be followed with, I don't deserve to do that, I suck, So the irony is we want to practice and we want to reach such lofty goals in our practice, but when we, quote, fail, we deny ourselves practice at all. And so hopefully you can see, the irony in that, like I do, which is when we need to practice most, we don't. Not only do we not, but we actually actively inhibit ourselves, stop ourselves from practicing. So it's okay to start over. Yes, in an absolute sense, we're always starting over, no matter what we're doing. But in a relative sense, when we can't live up to our idealistic constructs of spiritual self, when we can't uphold the commitments that we've made to ourselves and even to others. Now let me add this. It doesn't mean it's a get out of jail free card. It doesn't mean there's not consequences to deal with, possibly apologies to be made, reconciliation processes that have to be engaged. So it doesn't mean we're off the hook. It doesn't free us from responsibility for what we've done. But at the same time, we don't have to let that responsibility just be focused on punishing ourselves, right? Which is a lot of times what we do. So we're never punishing ourselves for failing. We're always appreciating ourselves for trying, right? And the reality is, the desire to be spiritual and the desire to be better in spirituality is being better. Just the aspiration to want to be better and to want to grow and transform and transcend is growing, transforming, and transcending. So even when we fail miserably, most, if not all of the times, it's much better than how we would have acted had we had no spiritual practice at all, right? So it's a good thing to start over, and it's actually a spiritually healthy thing to recognize I can start over and to let go of what would keep me from starting over and move forward. All right, it's always moving forward, even if it's 2 steps backwards to do it and a couple of baby steps to go forward. So have a great maggot-free day above the dirt. Check it out one more time. Beautiful day. Sun sets, but it always rises, right? Peace out.